Well, good evening again, everybody. Let's pick up where we left off yesterday, which was farming our stealth rune word. With the Countess. So, whoops, I forgot to talk to Deckard Cain real quick here. And identify our items from the last run. We get here, we have 1 to dexterity, 1 to dexterity. I'm currently equipped with 1 to dexterity, so those are basically useless. This is just another Qatar, don't need this. We'll just move our Ral runes over. Plenty of Ral runes, interestingly enough. No, that's right, we've got this really nice lightning and fire res amulet. That thing, we'll probably keep that for a while. Save these gems, they might become useful later. The 7% cold resist charm. Still plenty of mana potions. The rest of this we can pass over to Charcy. And then we will continue on and see if the Countess will be a little less difficult tonight about giving us those runes that we need. So I guess one thing I should talk about is why we want these runes so badly. What is so good about the stealth rune word that it is something that we are willing to spend all of this time getting? There's a couple things that it does. First of all, doing tower runs is valuable anyway, just because remember, we've got this amazing skill cranking out now, Wake of Fire. But the thing that makes stealth so good is that, first and foremost, it has an increased, it increases your run and walk speed. Which is super valuable, of course. It's just going to help you get through the game faster. It makes farming faster. It's just... run and walk speed is one of those things that's, I think, often overlooked as being really important. Even to, like, endgame farming builds. Your ability to get where you're going quickly allows you to get more, runs in of whatever it is that you're trying to do. And it increases, or actually I should say it increases your speed, but it decreases the amount of time it takes you to find particular items. So in that sense, it's like having additional magic find on your character to, yeah, I'll tell you what, some of the pathing in this dungeon gets really annoying with the way that some of the tombs and stuff are placed in between the pillars. Not my favorite. Anyway, a lot of people will think that maybe run walk speed is not that valuable, but it's truly one of the most important things in the game. Just being able to get around quickly allows you to get the game done faster if you are questing. It keeps you alive because it allows you to dodge faster. And, of course, it makes your magic farming more efficient. If we had something that increased our speed, we would have killed the Countess already on this run.
Your blood will boil.
Well, there's the tall rune. Alright, so we're off to a good start. That's great. It's half of what we need. Well, it's actually more than half of what we need because we already have the armor. So, great. Let's hope for an Eth rune. And you'll see that even people who speed run this game, that's part of the reason we're doing is I've learned a lot by watching various speedrunners and people play this game, because those people are the ones who really understand this game, the ins and outs, all the mechanics, incredibly well. I think I've probably watched more... Well, I don't want to say I've watched more of Mr. Llama streams. For anybody who doesn't know, Mr. Llama is just an awesome D2 speedrunner. He's been playing the game for a long time. It's basically his primary job is to just play Diablo every day. He streams on Twitch. Check him out if you haven't, because he's fantastic. But basically, I've spent a fair bit of time just having him on in the background while I'm doing other things or whatever, and he has some just outstanding Let's Play videos. There's a guy up here who might as well kill these dudes, because they're very good experience. He has some fantastic Let's Play videos on YouTube, streams that he does where he will take a character literally, kind of like we're doing here, where he'll take a character literally from zero, well, not zero, but level 1, all the way up to not just beating the game on hell difficulty, but he's even got a couple of ones that he's done lately where he even does the Uber's bosses, the end game bosses that you do after you beat the game, if you're looking for additional, chase content and game content. With the same character. He'll take the character all the way, and he'll do, probably 4 or 5 2 or 3 hour videos and just run the whole game. We are not going that fast. I think it goes without saying here that, we've already done a couple of hours just on this character alone to get to this far. A good speedrunner can beat the whole game, all of normal difficulty, in a couple of hours, especially with an assassin, which is one of the better classes to do because she's not very gear dependent. Gear obviously helps, but I would say that a speedrunner will definitely spend some time trying to get a stealth armor, but probably would have moved on by now. We're level 13. We're ready to basically move on to the next act and start doing that stuff. I'm not in anywhere near that kind of rush, so I think one of the fun things about this game is finding places along the way where you can just kind of farm. Oh man, that thing gets me every time. Where you can just kind of farm and build up stuff for your character, save things that you're going to need in the future. Level up, and just kind of take it at a real casual pace, especially because, too, with this is designed to be for kind of from the perspective of someone who's never played the game before, and I want to, explain things that I'm doing as I go. And there's an F! Wow, how about that? Tall F. We got everything we need in just 2 runs. And that's just how it goes. Sometimes you'll play this game for hours and hours and not find something, and then 2 consecutive runs you'll get the things that you're looking for. So, outstanding. That is great. We can head back, and I'll go ahead and throw this in my armor, and you'll see here I'll make it now because we can, and we're going to use the hard leather armor. So what you do is when you make a rune word, you want to make sure that you've got the right runes first and foremost, and you do have to be careful with items that are socketed, keeping them in your stash, because you can accidentally, like if you take this gem and pick it up and move it over and want to switch places, you know, move this gem to where this armor is, you want to move the armor first, because otherwise you'll put that gem in the armor, and then your armor will have a gem in it instead of the runes that you actually want to put in. So, but the runes we want to put in here are Tal and Eth. So here we go. And they have to be put in that order, and it has to be an armor that has exactly the number of sockets that makes the word. So Tal Eth will make the rune word stealth, and it only works in an armor. So here we go. We'll go Tal. And you can see that putting Tal in has given us 30% poison resist, because that's what a Tal rune does. And we'll put Eth in, and Eth does minus 20. Actually, no, it's regenerate mana 15%. And now there we go. We have stealth leather armor. We can't wear this until we're level 17, but does a couple nice things for us. The first and foremost thing is the 25% faster run walk. 25% faster cast rate is really nice. A lot of casters, paladins who are doing like Blessed Hammer, or sorceresses especially, necromancers, different characters will really benefit from that faster cast rate. It's basically how quickly you can cast spells. An assassin uses attack speed for her spell casting animation, so that doesn't really apply for us, but it's still nice. The 25% faster hit recovery is great. Basically, that's the amount of time it takes you to kind of be unstaggered after you take a big hit. I forget what the exact percentage is. I want to say it's like if you take a hit that's more than 15% of your hit points. So right now we have 220 hit points. So if we take a hit that's like 30, 40, you know, probably whatever that is, more than probably about 40 hit points. That will put us into what's known as hit recovery. And what happens in hit recovery is your character kind of pauses and stops for a couple of frames. I really should get into what frames are and how that all works, but just know, I'll probably talk about that as I go forward here, but just know that that little stagger is called hit recovery, and the faster hit recovery means that you're cutting down on the amount of time where your character can't do anything. Can't dodge, you can't move, you can't whatever. So you can get basically stun locked if you have a bunch of different monsters who are hitting you sequentially and taking big chunks of your life, which of course is one of the worst times to get stun locked, is when they're taking big chunks of your life away. And that's how a lot of players die. So having hit recovery is really nice. You definitely want to make sure you have some hit recovery on some of your gear, especially while your life totals are still somewhat low. Once you get really high life totals, it matters a little bit less, or when you get really high resistances, so you're just taking less damage in general, or less percentage of your life is going away at a time, then hit recovery maybe becomes less important. But for any character that is a melee character, who's kind of up in the business of monsters and in the fray taking shots, that's hit recovery is going to be really important. Plus 6 to dexterity. Of course, a little bit of dexterity helps our defense. Regenerate mana is good because it helps us recover that mana faster. 15 maximum stamina, just more stamina. Not going to complain about that. And poison resist 30%. Not a huge deal. Poison resistance is generally considered to be the least important of all the resistances, but still it's nice. And then magic damage reduced by 3, so every time you take magic damage, it's going to be reduced by 3, which doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're getting shot at from, say, a whole bunch of archers, and they're all hitting you with, like, cold or fire arrows or something like that, well, every single arrow that hits you is just going to do 3 less damage. And and see, this is a preserved head that is a necromancer only weapon, so it's not something that we could actually use. It's got a bunch of stats on it, but it's not particularly useful. Sorry, I meant to also check and see what this ring is. 15 to attack rating, 1 to light radius. I mean, we'll equip it for now. It doesn't hurt, but it's not very good. We'll get rid of that ring pretty soon. As soon as we get anything else, really. And then we'll put this tier rune in here. And continue along on our way to... Where are we? Actually, now that I'm looking at this... sorry, let me look at the quests. We never did the burial grounds. So let's go ahead and do that now. I think it's in the cold plains, or it's off of the cold plains that the burial grounds are. So this should be a breeze for us right now because, of course, all these monsters are still super low level. And actually, it's probably not even worth it to try to kill all these guys. Just that burst of speed is helping us run faster. As soon as we get the stealth, that will help us run faster. Yep, okay, we'll just follow the road here. We picked it back up. So this is going to lead us right to the burial grounds. That's off of the cold plains. Alright, Blood Raven is just running around in the middle here. And one trap and she's dead. So go back home and we'll turn on our quest. I don't know why that didn't scroll automatically, but basically, now we have we've completed this quest, and we have a mercenary, Paige, who's a rogue, and she will follow us along, and she's going to use these couple of skills. She's going to use Inner Sight to make enemies easier to hit. She's going to use Fire Arrow, which means she's going to shoot fire arrows, and she's also going to use Exploding Arrow, which does, it's like an AoE, area of effect, in case anybody's not familiar with that term. So let's see here. I don't actually think I'm out of that. We'll go ahead and just give her this armor. She can probably use it.
I'll put that to good use.
And let's see if we can find her. She will be able to fight, even though there's no bow equipped here. She will just go and attack, and you can see on where it says level 12 rogue, it shows her strength, dexterity. It'll show her damage is 6 to 11, so that's how much damage she'll do. But you can also go to a vendor and find a bow for her. This is 2 to 6, 2 to 6, 1 to 4. We'll see if we can give her one of these 2 to 6. This is 295. That's not too bad. Give her this.
Put that to good use.
And now you see her damage goes up to 817. I don't have a helmet for her, but that's not as important. If we find one, we'll give her one, actually. Yeah, that's not really going to do anything for anybody, so it doesn't really matter. So, let's go back, and now our next quest is to go to the monastery barracks and find the Herodric Malice that Charcy told us to find. And then we'll only have one quest left in the rest of Act 1. Just gonna make our way through the Tomo Highland here. And I don't think Paige is going to have that much work to do here because our fire traps are just going to do so much damage. Although we will probably be compelled to fight a few more things than we would otherwise, just because you know, we want to help her out. I don't want her fighting all these guys on her own. Your mercenary will die from time to time. They can be a little bit silly with their logic and go places that don't make any sense. Here's a skull cap. We can give that to her.
I'll put that to good use.
She's just going to keep on running around killing stuff while we sort out our loot here. Oops, I need mana. Okay. Crude hunter's bow. Well, we could have just waited until there and picked up a hunter's bow for her there, but that's alright. And there should be a waypoint right here. Yep, in the middle of the courtyard. Keep that burst of speed going. And now we can... These razor spines. Those guys are super annoying. And you'll see that when I'm casting this this Wake of Fire skill. So now we've made our way into the barracks, which should be, if Charcy is right, this should be where her Herodric Malice is, or where she says she left it. So again, we're not gonna... Well, we've got a whole bunch of guys right here. Goodness. I meant to say that you'll see that when we are going around, there's a jewel, that might be good. We're only dropping 2 fire traps at most at a time. And that's because first and foremost, it does do, this is the way down, but I want to try to find the Malice first. It does do a fair bit of it does so much damage that it really almost doesn't matter. If we use 3 or more fire traps, it would probably end up just being completely inefficient, because 1 trap is usually going to do enough damage to kill everything. But even if, for some reason, we weren't killing things with only 1 or 2 traps, there's a principle in the game called next hit delay. And next hit delay, basically, it's a way to kind of, I guess, it's like a mechanic they put in the game to prevent players from exploiting the ability to spam certain skills or certain abilities. And it means that there's only a certain amount of damage that enemy monsters can take from a given skill, especially skills that have the opportunity, like AoEs, that have the ability to hit monsters more than once, over and over again. So because of that, and because of the frequency with which the and it's a very small thing. It just makes it so that they can't be getting hit. It's basically to prevent the monsters from being effectively hit with a spell every single frame. Like in every single thing that they do, they're getting hit with a spell. Or they're getting hit with some kind of damage. And so the next hit delay for the Assassin's Wake of Fire Trap is the same as it is for a couple of other skills, and that is 4 frames. And I've been talking about frames so many times that this is the Smith. He can be kind of difficult, and he will absolutely light up your mercenary if you're not careful. A lot of times I'll just go in there and get the Malice. I won't even bother trying to fight him, but I figured we're high enough level here that we can do it. And right here, there's the Herodric Malice, so Charcy will be very happy to get that. We'll go back over and find the way back down the staircase that we were not going to take before. Still more guys in here. Anyway, as I was saying, next hit delay. it basically means that the thing you need to remember with it is that, yeah, I'm still going the right way. You can never have more than, at most, 3 of those. You can cast up to 5 traps at any given time as a trap assassin. Once you've cast 5 traps, your first trap you laid down will be overwritten with whatever the 6th trap is that you laid down. So the first trap you laid down will basically disintegrate, and then the last trap that you put down will take it, will take its spot in the rotation, I guess. So even though it's possible to lay 5 Wake of Fire traps all right on top of each other, it doesn't actually benefit you in the game, because the theoretical maximum amount of damage that you can do with one, thanks to next hit delay, means that you really only ever can use. And you have to get it exactly right in order to be able to effectively use 3. Most of the time, it's going to have to just be 2. All of this is math that's been worked out by a bunch of people who are, they really understand the core mechanics of the game, and figured all of this stuff out for the way that it works. So the important thing that I need to know that I'm using traps is that I'm just never going to use more than 2 at a time. Which, fortunately, not much of a problem, because the one that we're using does more than enough damage to take everybody out. I will occasionally lay 3, but it's usually a mistake. It's probably because I just held the button down too long. Okay, so frames. This is something that I did not understand about the game at all until well after I was playing it. I kind of went through 2 phases of playing Diablo. One was when I was playing a lot in college with my friends, and we were, basically doing like LAN parties where all of us would get on and share loot with each other, and we would farm independently or sometimes together, and then give each other gear that everybody else was looking for, things that, because one of the cool things about the loot in this game is that it doesn't bind to you when you pick it up or when you equip it or whatever. It's all loot is free for anyone to use. So the nice thing is that if you're playing solo, like I am right now, and you find something that this character doesn't need, there's no use for it for this character. And then it kind of puts you in a position to say, like, well, is there a character that I plan to make in the future that will want that? Or, in the case where a lot of us were playing, we were playing individually, and we could connect our characters via our network that we had in college. I would find things and then just trade them to my friends, who, I could find like a really cool barbarian sword, and then I could give that to my friend who had a barbarian, and if he found something that was cool for an assassin, for example, he would give it to me. And then, of course, as we made more and more characters, there'd be times where we'd say, hey, I have this on my other character, and it's really cool, it works really well. Do you want it for yours if I find a duplicate of it or something like that? So we leveled up, and I totally forgot to assign the points, so let's go ahead and do that. Again, just going to keep rocking Wake of Fire until it's maxed out, because it's great. So, because the loot is all free and available for everybody, That's part of why there's such a huge market for trading in this game. Even to this day, people who play this game online, especially when there is a new ladder season, which comes along every, well, it was supposed to be, I think, a little more frequently than it actually has been. But when a new ladder season comes along, roughly once every 6 months, all of the characters that you have online who were participating in the current ladder become non-ladder characters, so they're still online. And a new ladder starts, where if you want to make a ladder character, nice thing is that sorry, just a quick aside here, that fire trap works really well for these, you know, these little guys who run around really quickly and are just generally annoying. Otherwise, you have to kind of like chase them down and, you know, fight them one-on-one if you want to. Anyway, when a new ladder season comes along, you'll have everybody, you know, has the opportunity to basically create new characters, fresh characters starting at 0. And there's always a little bit of a race to see which person can get to level 99 first, which one is the first one to kill, you know, to make it through the entire game, which one is the first to, you know, to get like the first torch from doing the Uber's runs and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go back to town here because I'm out of mana potions, and just sell some stuff and actually talk to Charcy too. So let's do that really quick. But before I do that, I'll just say that when the ladder resets, that is, you know, those are kind of the seasons that happen online in Diablo. That doesn't happen in solo self, you know, in single player offline. There's no seasons, there's no ladder, there's no nothing like that. It's just, you know, kind of you doing things at your own pace. So now we have this ability to imbue, which means we can basically take any item that we have. Can't be a magic item, socketed, rare, unique item. It has to be a plain, just a plain Jane item. So, actually don't think I have anything that's just a plain, like, white item. Oh, the guitar. I could put the guitar in here, and it would, then she would give me back a magic item, a yellow item, right? Which will just be random. But, ooh, all resistances +3. Still, I don't think that's better than this. This would be a decent item otherwise, though. Anyway, so we will probably use that at some point. There will be, we'll have some reason for it. But right now we're gonna just save it. There are a few quests in the game that are like that. The rewards that they give you are ones that are nice, but you kind of want to save them. You don't necessarily want to use them right away. And the Charcy Imbue, ooh, 8% chance of getting, better chance of getting magic items. So that's kind of what I was talking about, that idea that this will improve our chance of finding magic items. So I'll talk about magic find as well in just a moment here. This is increased attack speed and damage and attack rating. This is a pretty nice blade. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot that the other thing we need to be looking for is a 2-socketed staff. So that we can make a leaf rune word, which we're going to need to do. So let's go over and talk to Akara and see if she has any of those. Because she does sell staffs. We got here. We're just looking for a staff that has 2 sockets, and it has to be a plain staff that does not have any magical... and there it is. This is one that would work. the problem with it, and so it's a little bit confusing because it does look like it has some blue modifications on it. But that is just buffs that come on the base version of the staff itself. It's not due to the fact that the staff is like, you know, a magical staff that has additional stats like additional mana or additional, you know, like adds fire damage when you hit somebody or something like that. This one just has an inherent 1 to attack rating, 2 to Nova, 2 to Firebolt. Which is actually, these are all pretty nice things to get. But the problem is that it costs 70,000 gold, and we only have about 47,000 gold between what we're holding and what's in our stash. So we can't buy this, and it wouldn't be a great use of our money anyway. We don't need all of those properties because those are all for the sorceress only. This is a 3-socket staff. That would work, except it's 3 sockets. We need one that's 2. This one will work. The only thing I'm not sure about, it does have +1 to Ice Bolt, which is fine. That really doesn't affect us. Is that it's a staff class, which is normal attack speed, and don't actually think it matters. So we can grab this, and then we will go ahead and, oop, you know what, I completely forgot to buy mana potions from Mara. Sell some of these. We don't need to carry around quite as many potions. I'm just going to kind of spam by a whole bunch of these because we go through mana potions pretty quick. And a Ral rune is often the one that you end up trying to hunt for a really long time. But we already have our Ral rune, which is kind of nice. So we're going to put a Tear rune in here and a Ral rune in here. Oops. And we get a Leaf Staff, which is primarily a sorceress staff because it adds all of these things. It adds warmth, it adds firebolt, it adds inferno, but it adds 3 to fire skills. And this is another thing that I would never have thought. That includes skills that aren't just in the sorceress's fire tree. That includes the fire skills that the assassin has. So Fire Blast, Wake of Fire, and Wake of Inferno. Those are all counted as fire skills. So that will add 3 to each of those skills once we are level 19 and we can start to use it. Again, we're still waiting until level 17 to put on our stealth armor. But you can see doing all of those Countess runs has paid off because we already have 2 items that we're waiting for once we get high enough level to use them. We're level 14, so we're closing right in. But we really need to keep moving, finish out this act, and get on to the next bit. So we've done this. That takes care of that. Now we need to find Andariel's lair in the depths of the monastery catacombs. So, we have made it. I'm trying to remember where we are. I think we took it to before. We have made it to the catacombs, level 2. And this is a place where we want to make sure that we get the waypoint. Because Andariel is the first act boss in the game that we're going to come across. This guy is fire enchanted, which means he's going to take less damage from our fire than, you know, a lot of other monsters would. But he still dies just because we're doing so much fire damage. This is a 3-socketed longbow, which is actually pretty nice. This is going to go right to our mercenary. She will happily use this. She's going to do more damage now. And the thing is, it has sockets in it, so we can actually put some things into it. We're just going to drop this hunter's bow. It's not worth saving. We can put some gems or some maybe some runes or something into it, and she will do even more damage, which is kind of nice. So like we could put this chipped emerald into it, and it would give her more poison. It would give her some poison damage. That's not really what we want to do right now. But, so this is the waypoint. This is not the waypoint. That's the way down to the next level of the catacombs. But what we're looking for is the waypoint here, so that we can, if we want to, farm Andariel. I was hoping that the waypoint would be right here somewhere, but it's not. It's okay. Sure, we'll take that. And Andariel is a really good boss to farm, especially for us. I think there's someone makes reference to it in here. I think it might be Deckard Cain who, if you ask him about the quest to find Andariel, which maybe we'll go and do that right now, since we found the waypoint now. We're going to go back anyway. Let's see what he says about it. So, she's not fond of fire. What does he say about the tools of trade? So, that's kind of nice. We can put this in here. I think we're going to throw rubies, because she's already doing fire damage. She's going to do even more fire damage if we put these... You know, I keep holding on to this Qatar. With the idea that I'm going to use it at some point, but I don't think I'll ever actually use either one of those. So...
I can't use that.
Yep, they won't let us do it while she's holding it. We'll take it off. So you see that right now this bow does 3 to 10 damage, but when we add these rubies into it, she goes from doing 6 to 11 damage, 18 to 36 damage. So she does a ton of extra fire damage now, and it will actually synergize with the fire skills that she is using. That fire damage will be added to the fire arrow and exploding arrow skills that she is going to be doing. So that's great. She's going to do a ton of damage with that. And as Deckard Cain said, Andariel is a boss who is not fond of fire. She will take additional fire damage. So characters that do fire damage, which of course we do, are... Wake of Fire Trap is a ton of fire damage. Oh gosh, these guys. Characters that do additional fire damage, will be able to kill Andariel significantly faster than other characters. So that's nice. Then that makes Andariel a pretty good spot for us to farm, because she drops really good gear. And she also has a special drop called a quest drop, basically, that allows her to drop even better gear than she normally would. So what happened was when they coded the game, it was actually a coding error that led to this, that, again, the Diablo nerds figured out. These guys are just annoying. Where So the way it works is the first time you kill a boss in the game, they have a higher chance of dropping unique items. And that's called the quest drop for the boss, because you're completing the quest, and it kind of gives you an extra reward for doing that quest. You know, that first time of killing a boss, you're more likely to get something good. So it's worth thinking about that when you kill a boss for the first time, that if you have any extra magic find and you can kill the boss with that additional magic find, it'll be even more effective than it would be, you know, normally. So we're in the Catacombs level 4. This is where we're going to find Andariel. But basically, for some reason in the game, there was a glitch that most players did accidentally, without even knowing it. If you, after you killed Andariel, if you followed certain steps, and I'll actually just do it when we kill Andariel, just to make sure that it's, you know, it's done kind of for old time's sake, because we're going to kill Andariel here in a few minutes. That basically, as long as you did this, she would become bugged, so that every time you killed Andariel, it would think that you were doing the quest to kill Andariel, and she would give you the quest drop with additional items and additional chance of getting something really good. Why did you open this door? I don't know. Sometimes the mercenaries will just go ahead and do kind of stupid things. And so in Diablo 2 Resurrected, it was a question that a lot of people had, saying, when you redo the game, are you going to keep the quest in there, the quest drop in there the way that it is, or are you going to fix the glitch, so to speak, and have it so that Andariel doesn't drop better loot? And what they ended up doing was saying, you know what, so many people ended up getting that buff anyway without even knowing it, that to take that away would feel like a nerf more than anything else. So they just made it so that they fixed the glitch, but they fixed the glitch so that she now just always gives her quest drop. Whether you're killing her for the quest or not, she always does it. Whether you've done the things that you need to do for the glitch or not, doesn't matter. She's always going to give you that that quest drop, which is really nice. That makes Andariel, of course, aside from just a couple, because simply for the very fact that she can't drop every item in the game, but for the items that she can drop, she becomes basically the best source. So here comes Andariel. She uses a lot of poison damage. It's kind of what she's known for. There she is. And she should die super fast here, because she just totally eats it to fire. And you can see here we've dropped, you know, she's dropped a number of items. She dropped a sapphire. Death becomes you, Andariel. Yeah, I love that line. And we'll pick up this helmet and this diamond. And the shield could be good, so we'll check that out. Just let's move a few things around here. I doubt that scale mail is going to be all that good. It automatically casts a town portal for you. So what you used to have to do in the old version of the game, before Diablo Resurrected, was if you just saved and exited the game now, after having killed Andariel, without completing the quest and going to the next act, it would not bug her, right? So she would be treated as having completed the quest. But as long as you went to the next act, started Act 2, because this is going to, once we finish this, this will basically complete Act 1, and we'll move on to Act 2. as long as you take the caravan east with Wareve here, in the same game in which you killed Andariel for the first time, she will stay bugged forever. Now, it doesn't matter in Diablo 2 Resurrected, but it's just habit for me, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. So we'll kind of talk to some of these folks, identify our stuff, and then we will travel east with Wareve. Cool. Well, we're friends with Kasha now. We're going to go and talk to Geed and see what he has to say. Little Prince reference there. I think that's really, really nice. Okay. So, let's see here. This is a shield that gives us more life, a little more mana. So, sure, we'll go ahead and equip that, and we can sell this. Let's just check and see what he's got here for just regular boots. Dexterity, Actually, I'm going to take these boots over to Charcy and see if she wants to do anything with them. This is actually kind of a nice helmet. This is 15 defense and 25 fire res, so for now, we'll wear that. And this is our first set item. You can see here it's part of the Berserker's arsenal. So if we got the Berserker's hatchet and the Berserker's auberk, we would have additional benefits that would be added to this particular item. For now, though, you know, it's fine. It gives us the 25% fire resist, which is good. It's great. That's Ice Blast. That's fine. This is 13% chance of getting magic items. So you see now, if we really don't need this ring, but now when we put these two together, stop. There we go. 13% and 8%. That's basically 21% better chance of getting something magic or better when you kill anything, including when we kill Andariel. So that is fantastic. And again, I'm going to take these boots over here. This will probably be one of the only two, but just to kind of show how this works, we might get something good out of this. Probably won't. Alright, so now they are that's actually really pretty good. Havoc Trample Boots. They give us better run walk, a little bit of dexterity, 22% fire resistance. So our fire resistance is looking great right now. So sure, let's go look at our character screen. You see our fire resistance is 56%. So if somebody's hitting us with fire, we just don't care. Or with poison, which is great because Andariel does poison damage and a lot of the other guys around there do fire. So we're pretty much kicking butt right now. So that's great. Thanks, Charcy. That worked pretty well. Typically, though, you want to... This is just a garbage jewel, so that's not even worth saving. So yeah, that takes care of Act 1. We have done everything we need to do here. Quest log says everything is complete except for talking to Wareve. So let's talk to him, go east, and then see what happens. Alright, so now we're in Loot Go Lane. Let's see what Jaren here has to say. Alright, so that's Jaren. Nice enough guy, but sounds like he's been having some issues. So, we've done what we needed to do in terms of completing Act 1, making sure that that Andariel is quest bugged, even though it wasn't necessary. He wanted us to go and talk to Atma. We'll go talk to her real quick, and then I think here she is. Alright, so that's our first quest. Now, in Act 2, you can see all the quests in Act 1 are completed. And now we have Radamant Slayer. So that'll be our first thing to do when we come back here. But for now, I think what we're going to do is save and exit. And I think we'll probably just farm Andariel a few times and see if we can get her to drop some decent gear. We have a couple of items that increase our chance of finding magic items. I don't think this one does, no. Actually, while we're here, I want to run up and check and see, because Elzix is a shopkeeper here, or the innkeeper here. Anyway, he can also gamble things. He's kind of like the guide of this act. But he also sells stuff that is pretty nice from time to time. Durability, just regular gloves, durability, strength. No, our boots are not going to be that important. This studded leather also would make a good stealth armor, but that's fine. We don't need to worry about it. Alright, so let's go ahead and save and exit. And then we will load back in. And the waypoint for Act 2, again, this is going to be your town. Loot Go Lane here is our town. The waypoint is right over here. So we'll go over here to the catacombs and head on down and kill Andariel again. And like I mentioned, all of these monsters will have respawned because we saved and exited and came back. But the map will stay the same. we gotta go this way. And we're already back at Andariel. These guys are super fast. I don't love that. And that's how quick it is. She dropped a skull cap, hatchet hands. What is going on? Oh, our poor mercenary is stuck out here, fighting against all of these dudes. Sorry about that. So we'll pick up the smoke spear and the hatchet hands. And that's it. Alright. But we did level up. Level 15 now. I think we're going to... I can't think of any reason why we would need more strength right now, so that's okay. And then we'll just keep pumping up our Wake of Fire. We'll do this a couple more times, and then we'll call it for the night. Hit recovery, 2-socketed cap with cold resist and poison resist. It's kind of interesting. Let me give that to our mercenary. This is another type of claw. You can see it has a bunch of attack speed, damage, all that stuff. But again, since we're not really doing those kinds of attacks, it's not that useful.
I'll put that to good use.
That's just a regular old skull cap, so it seems kind of dumb. And I'm just gonna check some of the gloves here. See, I don't think she's gonna give us particularly good gloves. She's just still too low level in Act 1 to get anything super good. I think Elzix is probably gonna be our best bet if we want to get something really useful. And I say really useful, I mean, marginally useful. I'm not gonna get, end-game caliber items here. That spider pack seems to always be in the same spot. And again, the goal here is just to do this as quickly as possible. The more runs we get in, the more loot we get. So we don't want to stop and kill things unless we've really got a compelling reason. Having this whole group of dudes in here is really annoying. I would be very happy if that was not something we had to deal with every time. And looks like we leveled up again, which is just silly. And this time she dropped a crystal sword and a ring. Not super amazing. Kind of a weak drop from Andariel that time. But we leveled up, so rinse and repeat. Oops, I meant to check with Kane here to identify the items. Thank you. And let's see. Save that and that. Probably have enough mana potions. And I'll say that, and then of course, probably regret those words. Now, most characters by this point have gone well into Act 2, right? But there's no harm in spending a little bit of time boss group, so it's not really worth spending my time with that. But these spiders are all part of a boss group, so might as well kill them every time I come through here. At least those guys are also part of a mini boss group. So it makes killing them at least somewhat worth it. And our mercenary just totally ate it from Andariel. I think Andariel just walked up to her and smacked her. But we did find our first unique item in the game. So maybe it was worth it. So we'll check out what that item is next time, but I think that is probably a fairly decent place to leave it for tonight. We're level 16, on our way to 17. 17, I think we'll maybe keep doing these Andariel runs until we hit level 17 and we can put on our stealth armor. And then we'll go ahead and just charge through Act 2 and see what awaits us in Loot-Go Lane. So thanks for watching, and catch up with you guys next time.